Greetings and welcome to Equity.Guru's Investor Roundtable. I'm Rob Simpson down in the lower corner with our exquisite writers and analysts. Above me is none other than Joseph Morton. In the middle bunk, Vishal Tura, and up on top is TK Indicena. What a great bunch to talk about pure extracts today, based in Pemberton, British Columbia. Let's get to the basics first, and we're going to hit Joseph up for a little bit of that.
Exquisite. I like that.
Exquisite.
Well, first off, I actually got a chance to get up to Pemberton and actually see the place.
Oh.
Before, COVID round one put the world to sleep for 2 years. You see, what I like about this company, and I'm pretty sure the others will get more into the financial side of it, and what I look for is, I like the people. I like to know who's running the show. Like, I think if a ship has a good captain, they can weather the storm a lot better. Yeah. But for me, captain's only one part of it. And if I get a rare chance to see who's operating down in engineering, to borrow a Star Trek reference, I want to know if Scotty's down there and what he can give the captain in times of need. And for me, I met a guy named Doug. Doug Banville is the chief operating officer.
Yeah.
10 years of experience in this legacy company. And by legacy, I mean they were operating in the cannabis space when it was questionably legal.
Mm-hmm.
But they were more or less grandfathered in when Health Canada, went legal, and they offered a number of incentives to, get live and make some money off of using standard investment. And what really impressed me about this guy is his no nonsense approach to things. The way he walked through and he explained it like we're all five.
Mm-hmm.
And he explained it in a way which is perfectly understandable. And I actually left that place feeling good about this company, that they had a good trajectory, that they had a good idea of not only the way they're going to go, but in 6 months, but in a couple of years.
But was it good enough for you to buy the stock?
Was it good enough for me to buy the stock? Well, right now I'm not buying much for reasons which have nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with it.
So is this also a reflection of Ben Nikolevsky, their CEO? I mean, did you get the same feeling that this runs company wide?
Because I never actually met him.
Yeah.
Like he didn't come out for this. Like he mostly let Ben do it.
Ben do it, or Doug. So you got a good.
I was just there to see the operation.
Yeah, a good feel from Doug Benville.
Yeah.
Everything
I've seen from Nikolevsky, like I've seen a few interviews and I've checked out some YouTube clips and such. I mean, he doesn't give me the idea that he's any less competent.
You guys want to hit the numbers a little bit?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's a value trap, and I'm going to go on the opposite spectrum here. I say value trap, which sounds harsh, but it's the reality of what they're doing. A lot of the core assets are kind of tied up in cash. They just recently exercised warrants and stuff like that because they don't have enough money coming through to allow them to run operations just from their normal day-to-day cash. So it's kind of interesting to see in their latest report, they booked a stock-based compensation of $2 million on revenue of 14,000, meaning your stock-based comp was about 142 times your revenue base, which is pretty striking, and I know with accountants, they do this thing where if the CEO asks you if 1 + 1 = 3, and they tell you 1 + 1 = 3, you accept 1 + 1 = 3. And it's not to say there's anything fraudulent going on. It's just more of there are accounting stuff that I would be questionable about because they are a startup company and they still haven't set a base for their business model that's easy to scale from where they are now. That's the only thing I saw coming out. And from that, I was like, I'd rather stay away from it. And I guess the whole market agrees with me. I think it's down 30% year to date.
Yeah.
You see, my problem with that, if you don't mind, is we got to consider what's happened in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, CBD, cannabis, THC related products, they're considered essential, but that doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to go out and buy them off the shelves when the prospect of getting their grandma sick is like nobody. It's not an essential product for most people, even though it is considered essential.
Right. So, Joseph, I'm going to ask you, man, like chart-wise, I like this breakout here. We had a huge technical breakout. So basically the trend has shifted, right? As TK mentioned, we're down 39% year to date, but in the past 3 months, we've been up 30% on the stock. By the way, market cap is close to 40 million. So, with the revenues of 14,000 there and that market cap. But we had a big pop here actually on July 9th. And I went to the news archives. I'm like, okay, it must have been big news, right? Taking a look, July 9th, I don't see anything. But then I see on July 7th, there's actually a corporate update, which came out 2 days before the stock actually popped. So I went to read that and, essentially it's saying, hey, look, we're enjoying continued business momentum. We have successfully achieved national consumer recognition for our Pure Pills product. And the most recent news, I believe, is actually they're shipping their edible gummies now here to BC. Not a sector, the gummies and edibles, I don't really follow it too much, but I just want to ask, I think, Joseph, you've written a lot about this stuff, but isn't that already a market with a lot of competition?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Right.
Cannabis 2.0 is a very saturated market. I mean, this is a case of bad timing as well.
Okay.
I mean, what they've done is they come into a sector which is pretty much tanked since 2019.
Yeah.
But I mean, like what they've also done is they tried to diversify past it. I mean, right now, when I say bad timing, I mean like they're trying to produce 3 different products.
Okay.
They got cannabis, cannabis extractions, et cetera. They can push that out into this heavily saturated market, compete in the price race to the bottom. Yeah. You have the functional mushrooms, which are, I mean, it's a kind of a niche product. It's a health and wellness. I mean, it's awfully popular right now, but how long is that going to last?
So,
but what we're really looking at here is
aren't all mushrooms functional? Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, but what they're really looking to get into, and what they're really been, chomping at the bit and getting, insert your favorite race metaphor here, is they're getting into psychedelics.
Yep.
They're getting everything ready for psychedelics. And right now they've actually got Health Canada authorization to hold, manufacture, and sell in places where they can sell them, which isn't here.
So that's what I was going to ask you. In terms of cannabis, I think most of you guys would agree with me that the biggest catalyst for cannabis stocks is actually probably across the border. It's on the U.S. side, right, with the whole legalization. And I know a lot of people are, playing the United States marijuana, right, USMJ. So a lot of people are playing that. And I think the catalyst is most likely going to come from the States. But what got me interested is, and I'm just going to bring up the chart here of MindMed. I believe that's Kevin O'Leary's, one of his stocks there. But yeah, the mushrooms have been doing quite well. And maybe they're going to go through what cannabis went through a few years ago, or some people might say that's already happened. But I was a bit more excited on the mushroom side, the functional mushrooms, and using this technology, the extraction to extract, as Joseph said, the psilocybin. So I think maybe that's actually the catalyst going forward, the shrooms rather than the cannabis side.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is there's a great management team, a questionable business model, high competition, and high regulation.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a formula for success for many businesses.
Yeah.
Right. And part of this, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. So here I am as a moderate investor, and I've invested in Canadian pot stocks on the US markets. Okay. But psychedelics seem to be the sexy subsector, if you want to refer to it that way. And obviously sector trends impact, individual companies. So from that regard, how much of that has to do with this and vice versa in terms of where this might be going? Sector trends.
Yep. I think you hit it. I think basically once that happens, I think the excitement for marijuana we're seeing, as I said, more on the US stocks, the USMJ, and some of the Canadian guys aren't really moving too much on that, but the US listed pot stocks are. And then, you tend to see that sympathy play in the Canadian sector. But I think you're right, I think that psilocybin psychedelics, I think that mania is still going to happen. And I know Chris has said this before. And just so you guys know, Chris gave a talk on why shrooms is the next best investment at a precious metals conference. So it sort of tells you how bullish he was on shrooms. Like, this was 2 years ago at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. So, he says that basically mushrooms are going to be what cannabis was supposed to be in terms of the health benefits and all that kind of stuff. So maybe we're just seeing it beginning, right? And we're seeing a lot of money run into MindMed.
That's right.
Right?
I think this is just the beginning right now. This is 2013, what cannabis was in 2013.
Yeah.
We're looking ahead. We're seeing big things. And I don't know, we're just waiting for another canopy growth to arise and blow it all up.
Yep.
All right, so we've got some great input. We got some different angles. So here we come down to the ultimate question. Here I am. I told you about my pot stock. So I've got $5 grand in my pocket, boys.
Yep.
Let's go right around the table. We'll start with the man sitting just above my head, and that would be Joseph. I got $5 grand. How much are you dropping into Pure Extracts?
Well, this company, because of where it is right now, probably be considerably high for my risk tolerance. I would want to wait and see how they do over the next year and a half. But for right now, just dip my toes in, get it wet, get my feet wet, make sure I potentially take advantage of any potential pops they might have on a speculative level. This would probably be a speculative, I'd buy it on the speculative basis. It's not a long-term kind of investment for me. It's part of my 20%. Like 80% is solid investments. You build wealth with it, and 20% is for gambling. This is a gambling stock for me.
Vishal, what am I doing with my cash?
Yeah, I would be just like Joseph. I would say this is speculative. If I was going to be a speculative trader or investor on this, I would maybe just top 1K. I would rather put that money in, say, like an ETF that tracks marijuana, especially the USMJ, if I'm bullish on the marijuana sector. But I'd want to see some more news in terms of, another mania for the shroom stocks. But technically, they do actually have earnings coming up on September 1st. So that might give a bit of a boost for the stock. But you can see in the previous earnings, we had a drop. And last earnings, we really did nothing. If it does break above 44 cents on the charts, that's actually quite powerful. And, as a trade, I think you can get away with that as a trade, but not as a long-term investment. And if this dips actually back below and hits 30 cents, I think that might be an attractive place to buy as well. But once again, just as a trade, I wouldn't really be holding this long-term. Long-term, I'd rather maybe hold the marijuana ETFs in general.
TK, am I holding this? I'm just taking you out to a lavish dinner. What are we doing with my cash here?
We're going to go for a dinner. Cactus Club or Joey's, or wear a nice suit and tie. I don't know. I wouldn't touch this one because management incentives are not aligned with shareholders. That's just my personal perspective.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate all that input. And by the way, as we all know, past results do not guarantee future performance. And you out there are responsible for making your own investment decisions. Do some more research. We are here for a little bit of education and some background, but it's up to you to make those final investment decisions. But thanks for checking us out. And we'll have another Equity Guru Investment Roundtable coming at you real soon. Thank you very much. This has been the Equity Guru Investor Roundtable with TK, Vishal, Joseph, and myself, Rob. And this has been Pure Extracts. See you next time.